So some of the ones we're talking about, I think, will be very familiar for people who have thought about team performance. I think this one will be a bit different. It's one, if I go right back, a name will be known to a number of people on the call. Phil Hayes and myself talked a lot about that. If we look at the difference between teams that perform and those that don't, one of the things that stands out is this idea of energy. So clarity is one thing, but how people feel about that purpose, direction, strategy is something different. And it's separating the idea of clarity from commitment. I think one of the really provocative questions here is next time you walk into a room with your team or with a team, is just ask yourself the question, how excited are people to be here? It's a really interesting question because, for me, that is a massive predictor of how well that team's going to succeed. Okay. So again, for us as leaders or coaches working with leaders, I think there's some things we can pay attention to shift the energy in the team. So just to highlight some of those ideas. So drive, determination. So just motivation. What's the motivation for the purpose? What's the level of discretionary effort? And I think this comes back to, okay, we've got clarity, but how much commitment? To what extent does that why really connect with people? If I go back to Owen Eastwood's work around belonging, is there an identity in the team around this group, this specific group is going to do something special together? Belief. So this one really, really fascinates me. And I mentioned before, I've learned as much from reflecting on teams that have had a lot of potential and struggled. One of the things keep coming back to, I think, has been missing is confidence and belief. So if you don't believe in the strategy, that the strategy is good enough to achieve your ambitions, or you don't believe in the team, or you don't believe in how the team works, what I've just noticed is that just saps energy. People will sort of show up and play at commitment, but you don't have that energy in the room. And I think at its worst, if the stakes are really high, people will start looking at their own career and start looking at sort of protecting themselves rather than committing to the cause. So again, I think this is one we don't pay enough attention to. What's the level of confidence and belief? And then the last two, going to put them together. A number of you in your groups kind of talked about this. A couple of you quite surprised, actually. One of you, said, we talked a lot about fun, is paying attention as a leader to enjoying the journey. And I think the irony in this is almost the more important the work is, the more important this is to sustain that energy. In elite sport, there's a phrase I love, which is switch on, switch off. and paying attention to, we should be able to do that really quickly. So have fun doesn't take away from us being able to switch on and do something amazing together. So celebrate success is obviously about taking the time to really enjoy the successes and learn from the successes, which builds confidence. But having fun together is about, it shouldn't be canned fun and it shouldn't be artificial, but it is trying to create an environment where people just enjoy each other's company.